Hiya fam. How about a story? So today it's just going to be kind of an intro to a color analysis and the method that I use to compare pigment compositions of different paints. To give it context, we will be looking at the Schmincke Super Granulating paints, which will be the paints we analyze in the first installment of a series I will be calling Vennstravaganza, because normal words are for normal people, and dear friends, I am not normal people. So this is going to allow us to compare which paints compare which pigments, basically give us a playbook for how to mix these colors yourself with the pigments you already have on hand at home. And I guess I just wanted to give a little bit of context as to how we got here, since it may seem a wee bit novel. So the Schmincke Super Granulating paints are the first paints we'll analyze for good reason. Here are the swatches. So back in July of 2020, the Deep Sea, the Galaxy, and the Glacier series were released, and they were all very beautiful, but they were really repetitive. There didn't really appear to be much benefit from buying all of them, and they were not cheap. So I wanted to really compare the paints and get a better idea as to what we were working with, what the differences were between them, and what could be mixed with what I had at home. So I did what any lunatic with a paintbrush would do, and one thing led to another, and I ended up with a bonkers Venn diagram that would give that better picture of which pigments were involved. And then in December of 2020, the Forest and the Tundra series were released, and I did the same exact thing. And then I made an even bigger one that compared all of them. And now I shall begin to impart this wisdom unto you. So let's take a sneak peek as to what we are working with. It did take a little bit of time to decide basically how best to balance minimizing time spent watching paint dry with minimizing confusion. So in this, the single pigments are painted in already. One circle represents one single pigment. The overlap between circles represents a mixture. And then any particular mixture that is the composition of a super granulating paint is already marked. And we will basically go over these together as to the actual super granulating paints. I will note, just especially in this case, all of the actual colors that are on this page do no justice to these paints at all. So the single pigments that I laid down already, these are just representative. The only thing we have is the pigment code. The paints actually used in these will not be the exact same color as what I put down. This is just kind of a ballpark. It's, you know, this is what I had on hand. That was close enough. It's, you know, this is the visual representation. It's not going to be exact. And that's why I have the swatches too. And then the actual super granulating paints, especially here, these spaces are so small that it really does the granulation no justice. Like, really, really take this whole page with a grain of salt. It's mostly just for that visual effect of actually looking at what's here. So what we will do, and I will have for all of these, the high-res scans of all of these pages over on my blog at gingersnapsart.wordpress.com for your viewing pleasure. I will have in the link, there will be a link in the description of every Vennstravaganza video for you there, so that you'll be able to take a peek. So from here, I will have, it's going to be a 3-part series for this Schmincke Super Granulating paints. Part 1 is going to be this, which is the Deep Sea, the Galaxy, and the Glacier colors that were all released July 2020. And then part 2 will have the Forest and the Tundra series, which were December of 2020. And then part 3 will bring everything together. And then from there, we will go on to other paints, other brands, and so on and so forth. So my question for you, my fellow mess makers, is what paints would you like to see compared like this? If there's multi-pigment paints that you wanted to have this breakdown, have this assessment, and is there any similar tools that you already use to get a better familiarity with the paints that you have already? Do let me know. And if there, like I said, if there is any paints that you want to see this done with, definitely let me know. And any questions, concerns, sarcastic remarks, please don't be shy. Otherwise, next time we will start with the part 1 of the Schmincke Super Granulating colors, which will be this, and we'll go from there. Until next time, take care.